You do not need to introduce me. By now, you probably already know who I am. Miley Hayes. The Miley Hayes. Billboard chart topper. Sold out world tours. Millions of fans screaming my name. But let me tell you something most people do not know. 5 years ago, I was nobody. I was a 24-year-old girl singing in coffee shops for tip money, getting laughed at by my own family, living in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn, wondering if I would ever make it. And then she walked into that cafe. Agna Goudier. The woman who changed everything. The woman who believed in me when no one else did. The woman I fell hopelessly, completely in love with. This is our story. The real story. Not the sanitized version you read in magazines or see in interviews. This is the truth about how a nobody became a somebody, and how love saved me when I was ready to give up on everything. So sit back, turn up the volume, and let me tell you how it all began. My name is Miley Hayes, and I am 29 years old now. But this story starts when I was 24, broke, and singing my heart out in a cafe in Manhattan for $75 and whatever tips people threw in my guitar case. I grew up in a pretty typical middle-class family in New Jersey. My mom, Catherine, was a high school English teacher. Strict, practical, always worried about security and stability. My dad, Robert, worked in an office doing something with insurance that I never fully understood. And my older brother, Marcus, he was the golden child. The one who did everything right. Graduated top of his class. Went to medical school. Became a surgeon. Made our parents so proud they practically glowed whenever they talked about him. And then there was me. Miley. The disappointment. I knew from the time I was 12 years old that I wanted to be a singer. Not just any singer. I wanted to be a star. I wanted to stand on stages in front of thousands of people and make them feel something with my voice. I wanted my songs played on the radio. I wanted to matter. My parents did not understand. They thought it was a phase. They thought I would grow out of it, go to college, get a real job, settle down. But I did not grow out of it. After high school, I did not apply to colleges. I worked part-time jobs and spent every free moment practicing my voice, writing songs, learning guitar, studying music theory on YouTube. My parents were furious. We fought constantly. My mom would cry and ask why I was throwing my life away. My dad would lecture me about responsibility and reality. And Marcus, perfect Marcus, would shake his head and tell me I was being selfish and immature. But the worst was my aunt, my dad's sister Linda. She made no effort to hide her contempt. At family dinners, she would make snide comments. Still singing in coffee shops, Miley? Is that even a real job? She would laugh like it was the funniest thing in the world. When are you going to do something with your life? I tried not to let it get to me. I tried to stay focused on my dream. But it was hard. So hard. Living on barely any money. Watching my friends from high school graduate college and start careers. Seeing the disappointment in my parents' eyes every time I came home for holidays. I was singing at this cafe called the Blue Moon. It was a tiny place in the East Village, the kind of spot that smelled like espresso and old books. They had live music on Friday and Saturday nights. I had a regular slot, 8 to 10 p.m. The owner, an older guy named Sal, paid me $75 a night plus tips. Some nights I made an extra $50 in tips. Some nights I made $10. But I loved it. I loved being on that little stage with my guitar. I loved watching people's faces when I sang. Some would ignore me, typing on laptops or having conversations. But some would stop and listen. Really listen. And those were the moments that kept me going. It was a Friday night in October when I first saw her. The cafe was moderately crowded. The usual mix of college students, young professionals, a few older regulars who came for the music. I was on stage, halfway through my second set. I was singing an original song I had written called Invisible. It was about feeling unseen, about fighting for a dream nobody believed in. And then I saw her walk in. She was impossible not to notice. She was tall, probably 5'9", with dark brown hair that was almost black, cut short in a sophisticated style. She looked older than most of the crowd, maybe late 30s or early 40s. She was wearing an expensive-looking coat and carrying a designer handbag. Everything about her screamed money and class. She ordered a coffee at the counter, then found a seat near the back. And then she looked at me. Our eyes met for just a second, and something electric passed between us. I almost forgot the words to my song. I had to look down at my guitar to remember where I was. When I looked up again, she was still watching me. Not casually, the way most people watched. Intensely. Like she was trying to figure something out. I finished the song and the small crowd clapped politely. I announced I was taking a short break and stepped off the little stage. I needed water. I needed air. I needed to stop thinking about the beautiful older woman in the back who was looking at me like I was the only person in the room. I went to the counter to grab my water bottle. Sal grinned at me. "Good set tonight, kid. You sound great." "Thanks," I said. "See that woman in the back?" he said quietly. "She has been watching you like a hawk. I think you have got a fan." I glanced over. She was still there, sipping her coffee, those intense eyes still on me. "She is probably just bored," I said, but my heart was racing. I went back for my second set. I sang for another hour. And the entire time, she watched me. When I finished my last song, she stood up. I thought she was leaving. But instead, she walked toward the stage. "Excuse me," she said. Her voice had an accent. German, I thought. "You are very talented." "Thank you," I said. Up close, she was even more beautiful. Sharp cheekbones. Green eyes. A slight smile that seemed both warm and guarded. "Do you write your own songs?" she asked. "Most of them, yeah. They are good. Really good. You have something special." I felt my face get hot. "Thanks. That means a lot." She extended her hand. "I am Agna Goudier." "Miley Hayes," I said, shaking her hand. Her grip was firm, confident. "It was a pleasure listening to you, Miley. I hope to hear you again soon." She left before I could say anything else. I stood there, staring after her, my hand still tingling from where she had touched it. Sal came over, laughing. "Looks like you made an impression." "Who is she?" I asked. He shrugged. "Never seen her before. But she left $100 bill in your tip jar." My eyes went wide. "What?" "Check for yourself." I ran over to my guitar case. Sure enough, folded neatly among the ones and fives, was a crisp $100 bill. I could not stop thinking about Agna. All week, she occupied my thoughts. Those intense green eyes. That accent. The way she looked at me. The $100 she left, which was more than I usually made in an entire weekend. Friday came around again. I showed up at the Blue Moon for my regular gig, nervous and excited. Would she come back? Did I want her to come back? Why was I so affected by a stranger who had watched me sing? I was setting up my equipment when Sal came over. "Your fan is here," he said with a wink. I looked up. Agna was sitting in the same spot as last week, already watching me with that same intense gaze. My hands shook a little as I tuned my guitar. This was ridiculous. I performed in front of people all the time. Why was I so nervous? But I knew why. Because something about this woman made me feel seen in a way I had never felt before. I started my set. I sang with everything I had, pouring my heart into every note. And the entire time, I felt her eyes on me. It was exhilarating and terrifying. After my first set, I took a break. I was standing by the counter when she approached. "You were even better tonight," she said. "Thank you. And thank you for last week. The tip. That was really generous." She smiled. "It was well deserved. May I buy you a coffee?" I am working. I have another set. After, then? I should have said no. I should have kept things professional. But I did not want to say no. "Okay," I said. After. The second set felt like it lasted forever. I kept glancing at Agna, making sure she was still there, that I had not imagined the whole thing. Finally, I finished. I packed up my guitar while Sal counted out my payment. Then I walked over to where Agna was waiting. "There is a quieter cafe down the street," she said. "If you would like to talk somewhere with less noise." We walked together through the cold October night. The streets were busy with weekend crowds, but I barely noticed. All my attention was on the woman beside me. The cafe she led me to was upscale, the kind of place that served $8 lattes in fancy cups. We found a corner booth and ordered drinks. "So," she said, leaning back and studying me. "Tell me about yourself, Miley Hayes. Why are you singing in small cafes when you clearly have the talent for much bigger stages?" I laughed, but it came out bitter. "That is the dream. But dreams do not pay bills. And not everyone believes in them." "Your family? How did you know?" I recognized that look. That determination mixed with hurt. Someone important does not support you. I found myself telling her everything. About my parents' disappointment. About my brother's success. About my aunt's cruel comments. About how I was 24 years old and sometimes felt like a complete failure. She listened without interrupting, her eyes never leaving my face. "Do you believe in yourself?" she asked when I finished. "Yes. I have to. If I do not, who will? Then that is all that matters." She reached across the table and took my hand. The touch sent electricity through me. The people who truly love you will come around eventually. And the ones who do not, you do not need them anyway. "Is that what happened to you?" I asked. "Someone did not support you?" Her expression darkened. My family had very specific plans for my life. I was raised in a wealthy family in Germany. Old money, old expectations. When I was 30, they arranged a marriage for me with an American businessman. He was 20 years older than me. I did not love him. I did not even know him. But that did not matter to my family. "That is awful," I said. I went through with it. I moved to America, married him, played the dutiful wife for 10 years. And then he died. Heart attack. Sudden. And I inherited everything. I am sorry. Do not be. I know that sounds cold, but I was never happy with him. He was not cruel, but he was not kind either. We lived separate lives in the same house. When he died, I felt relieved. Guilty, but relieved. And now? Now I am 40 years old, widowed, wealthy, and finally free to live life on my own terms. Which is why I admire you, Miley. You are choosing freedom at 24. That takes courage. I blushed. I do not feel very courageous most days. That is because courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite the fear. We talked for hours. About music, about dreams, about life. I learned that she loved classical music but had recently discovered a passion for contemporary pop and indie. She learned that I had been writing songs since I was 14 and had a notebook full of lyrics I had never shared with anyone. When the cafe started closing, we walked outside. It was nearly midnight. "Can I see you again?" she asked. My heart pounded. "I am here every Friday and Saturday night." "I know. But I meant, can I see you? Outside of your performances? Like a date?" She smiled. "Yes. Like a date." I should have hesitated. She was 16 years older than me. She was clearly wealthy and sophisticated, and I was a broke cafe singer. We came from completely different worlds. But I did not hesitate. "Yes," I said. "I would really like that." Agna and I started seeing each other regularly. At first, we kept things casual. Coffee dates, walks through Central Park, late dinners after my gigs. But it did not take long for casual to become something more. She was fascinating. She had traveled everywhere. Paris, Tokyo, Buenos Aires, Cape Town. She spoke German, English, and French fluently. She knew about art and literature and history. Being with her was like getting an education in how to live a bigger life. But what I loved most was how she made me feel. She listened when I talked about my music like it was the most important thing in the world. She asked thoughtful questions about my creative process. She encouraged me to take risks with my songwriting. And she was attracted to me. I could feel it in the way she looked at me, the way she touched my arm when she laughed, the way she leaned in close when we talked. One night in November, after my Friday gig, we went back to her apartment. I had never been there before. It was in a luxury building on the Upper West Side, with doormen and marble lobbies and the kind of elevator that required a key. Her apartment was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Modern furniture that looked like it belonged in a magazine. Art on the walls that was probably worth more than I made in a year. "This is incredible," I said, walking to the windows. "It is too big for one person," she said, coming to stand beside me. "But I have gotten used to it." We stood there in silence, looking out at the glittering city. Then she turned to me. "Miley, I need to tell you something." "Okay." "I am attracted to you. Very attracted to you. I have been since the first night I saw you perform. And I know there is an age difference between us. I know our lives are very different. But I cannot stop thinking about you. And if you feel even a fraction of what I feel, I would very much like to kiss you right now." My breath caught. "I feel it too. All of it." She stepped closer, her hand coming up to cut my cheek. "Are you sure?" "I have never been more sure of anything." She kissed me. Soft at first, testing, giving me a chance to pull away. But I did not pull away. I kissed her back, my hands finding her waist, pulling her closer. The kiss deepened. Became urgent. Months of tension and longing pouring out all at once. We stumbled toward her bedroom, kissing and touching, not wanting to separate even for a second. She helped me out of my jacket, then my shirt. I undid the buttons of her blouse with shaking hands. When we finally made it to her bed, she paused, looking down at me. "You are so beautiful," she whispered. "So are you." We made love that night with a passion I had never experienced. She knew exactly how to touch me, how to make me gasp and moan. She explored my body like she was memorizing it. And when I touched her, she came apart in my arms, saying my name like a prayer. Afterward, we lay tangled together, sweaty and breathless and completely satisfied. "That was," I started. "Amazing," she finished. "Yeah." She kissed my forehead. "Stay tonight. Stay with me." "Okay." I fell asleep in her arms, feeling safer and happier than I had in years. Agna and I fell deeply, madly in love over the next few months. We spent every free moment together. She would come to all my gigs, sitting in her usual spot, watching me with those intense eyes. Afterward, I would go back to her apartment and we would stay up until dawn, talking and laughing and making love. She started helping me with my music. She had connections in the industry through her late husband's business associates. She introduced me to a producer who listened to my demos and said I had potential. "You need better recordings," he told me. "Professional studio quality. If you can invest in that, I think we could shop your music around to some labels." But professional studio time was expensive. Thousands of dollars I did not have. That night, I sat in Agna's apartment, feeling defeated. "What if I paid for it?" she said. I looked up from where I was sitting on her couch. "What?" "The studio time. What if I paid for it? Consider it an investment." "Agna, I cannot ask you to do that." "You are not asking. I am offering." "Miley, you have so much talent. The world deserves to hear your music. Let me help you make that happen." "But what if I fail? What if I record these songs and nothing happens? You will have wasted all that money." She came over and sat beside me, taking my hands. "It is not a waste if it helps you pursue your dream. And I do not think you will fail. I think you are going to be a star." Tears filled my eyes. "Why are you so good to me?" "Because I love you," she said simply. "And when you love someone, you support their dreams." It was the first time either of us had said it out loud. "I love you too," I whispered. "So much." We kissed, soft and sweet, and I felt like the luckiest person in the world. In January, Agna wrote a check for $15,000 to cover professional recording sessions. I was terrified and excited and overwhelmed by her generosity. I spent the next 3 months working with the producer and a team of studio musicians. We recorded 5 of my original songs. The process was intense. Long hours, take after take, perfecting every note and every word. But when we finished, I had something real. 5 professionally recorded tracks that actually sounded like they could be on the radio. Agna threw me a listening party at her apartment. She invited music industry people, journalists, influencers, anyone who might help get my music heard. I was terrified, but she held my hand the entire time and told me I was going to be amazing. We played the tracks. The room went silent as people listened. When the last song ended, there was a pause that felt like an eternity. Then everyone started clapping. People came up to me, shaking my hand, asking for my contact information, telling me I had a real future. A woman from a record label gave me her card. "Call me," she said. "I think we should talk." I looked over at Agna. She was beaming with pride. That night, after everyone left, we celebrated alone. "You did it," she said, pulling me into her arms. "You are really doing this." "We did it," I corrected. "None of this would have happened without you." We made love that night with a joy and intensity that left us both exhausted and glowing. The next week, I met with the record label. They offered me a deal. Not a huge deal, but a real one. They wanted to release my 5 songs as an EP and see how they performed. I called my parents to tell them. My mom was cautiously optimistic. My dad was skeptical. "Do not quit your day job yet," he said. But I did not care. I was finally getting my chance. My EP dropped in May. Agna had helped me hire a publicist to get the word out. We did a small release party at a venue in Brooklyn. All my friends came. Agna was there, of course, looking gorgeous and proud. The song started getting played on indie radio stations. Streaming numbers climbed slowly but steadily. Music blogs started writing about me. Fresh voice in pop music. Rising star to watch. It was not overnight success, but it was something. It was momentum. My family's reaction was mixed. My mom bought copies of my EP and played it for her friends at school. My dad remained skeptical but stopped making negative comments. Marcus sent me a text that said, "Congrats. Pretty good," which for him was basically a glowing review. And my Aunt Linda? She did not say anything at all. But I did not need her approval anymore. I had Agna. I had my music. I had a real shot at my dream. Agna and I were happier than ever. We had been together for 8 months and I could not imagine my life without her. We talked about moving in together officially. She had more than enough space, and I was at her apartment most nights anyway. One night in June, we were lying in bed after making love, my head on her chest, her fingers playing with my hair. "I am so proud of you," she said quietly. "Do you know that? You tell me every day." "Well, I am going to keep telling you. Watching you chase your dream has been the most beautiful thing I have ever witnessed." I lifted my head to look at her. "Thank you for believing in me. For supporting me. For loving me. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey." She kissed me softly. "I love you, Miley Hayes. No matter what happens, no matter where your career takes you, I will always love you. I love you too. Always." But our happiness was about to be tested. In July, I got invited to perform at a small music festival in New Jersey. It was a big opportunity. Bigger crowd than I had ever performed for. Industry people would be there. I asked my parents to come. I wanted them to finally see what I had been working toward. I wanted them to understand why I had chosen this path. They agreed to come. Even Marcus said he would try to make it. The day of the festival, I was a nervous wreck. Agna helped me get ready, choosing my outfit, doing my makeup, calming my nerves. "You are going to be incredible," she said, kissing me before I left for the venue. "I will be in the audience, cheering louder than anyone." The festival was outdoors in a park. There were food trucks and craft beer stands and multiple stages. I was performing on the smaller stage, but there were still a few hundred people in the audience. I saw my family arrive. My parents, Marcus, and unfortunately, Aunt Linda had come too. They stood toward the back of the crowd. And Agna was right up front, just like she always was. I got on stage and poured my heart into the performance. I sang my 5 songs from the EP plus a few covers. The crowd was responsive, singing along to the parts they knew, cheering after each song. When I finished my set, the applause was thunderous. I felt like I was flying. After, I found my family. My mom hugged me tight. "You were wonderful, sweetheart. So professional." "Thanks, Mom." My dad nodded. That was really good, Miley. I am impressed. Marcus clapped me on the shoulder. You have got talent, sis. I am proud of you. Even that felt good to hear. Then Aunt Linda spoke up. It is cute, Miley. But is this really sustainable? Can you actually make a living doing this? Before I could respond, Agna appeared at my side. She wrapped her arm around my waist protectively. She already is making a living at it, Agna said coolly. And she will continue to. Miley is incredibly talented and hardworking. The only question is how big her success will be, not if she will have it. Aunt Linda looked Agna up and down. And who are you? I am Agna. Miley's girlfriend. The silence was deafening. My mom's eyes went wide. My dad looked confused. Marcus raised his eyebrows but said nothing. Aunt Linda's mouth fell open. Girlfriend, my mom finally said. Yes, I said, taking Agna's hand. Agna is my girlfriend. We have been together for 8 months. I should have told you sooner, but I was waiting for the right time. You are gay, my dad said. Yes, Dad. I am gay. More silence. Then my mom spoke, her voice tight. How old are you? She asked Agna. I am 40, Agna said calmly. She is 24, my mom said. You are 16 years older than her. I am aware. This is inappropriate. This is wrong. My mom looked at me. Miley, what are you thinking? I am thinking that I love her, I said. And she loves me. And we are happy. You are making a mistake, my dad said. This woman, she is too old for you. This is not healthy. You do not know anything about our relationship, I said, anger rising in my chest. Aunt Linda laughed. First you throw away your education to sing in cafes, and now you are dating women? Old women? What next, Miley? That is enough, Marcus said suddenly. Everyone looked at him in surprise. Stop it. All of you. Miley is an adult. She gets to make her own choices. And from what I just saw on that stage, she is making pretty good ones. Marcus, my mom started. No, Mom. Listen to yourself. Miley just performed an amazing set in front of hundreds of people. She is pursuing her dream and actually succeeding. And she found someone who loves and supports her. Those are all good things. Why are we making her feel bad about them? My eyes filled with tears. I had never expected Marcus to defend me. But my parents were not done. My dad shook his head. We are not going to support this. This relationship, this lifestyle, it is not what we raised you for. Then maybe you raised me to think for myself, I shot back. To chase my dreams. To be brave. I am being all of those things. I am sorry that is not good enough for you. Miley, please, my mom said, tears in her eyes. Just end this. End this relationship. Stop this music thing. Come home. Go to college. We can pretend none of this happened. No, I said. I am not giving up my music. And I am not giving up Agna. I love her. If you cannot accept that, then I guess we have nothing more to say to each other. I turned and walked away, Agna's hand tight in mine. I was shaking with anger and hurt. When we got back to her car, I broke down crying. I am so sorry, I sobbed. I am so sorry they were so cruel to you. Shoo, she said, pulling me into her arms. I do not care what they think of me. I only care that you are okay. I am not okay. They want me to give you up. They want me to quit music. They want me to be someone I am not. Then they do not really know you, she said gently. And that is their loss. You are brilliant and talented and brave. And I am honored to be with you. We sat in her car for a long time while I cried. When I finally calmed down, I looked at her. I am not giving you up, I said. No matter what they say. I am not going anywhere, she promised. We are in this together. The next few weeks were rough. My parents called constantly, trying to convince me to come to my senses. My mom cried on the phone about how I was throwing my life away. My dad lectured me about making responsible choices. Only Marcus seemed to understand. He texted me privately. They will come around eventually. Just give them time. In the meantime, keep doing your thing. You are killing it. But the breaking point came 3 weeks after the festival. I went home to pick up some of my belongings that were still at my parents' house. Things I had left behind when I moved to the city. My guitar from high school. Some photo albums. A box of journals. My parents were waiting for me. They sat me down at the kitchen table like I was a teenager in trouble. We have been talking, my mom said. And we think you need to end this relationship with Agna. We have already discussed this, I said. I am not doing that. She is too old for you, my dad said. She is taking advantage of you. That is not true. She loves me. She supports me. She is filling your head with unrealistic dreams, my mom said. This music thing, it is not going to work out. You need to face reality. My music is doing well, I argued. I have a record deal. I am getting radio play. I performed at a festival. This is real. It is a phase, my dad said dismissively. You need to think about your future. A real future. With a real career. Music is my real career. No, it is not. It is a hobby. A pipe dream. My dad stood up, his face red with anger. We did not raise you to be some starving artist singing for pennies. We raised you to be better than that. And I am better than that, I said, standing too. I am following my passion. I am being true to myself. I am building a life that I love. Why is that not enough for you? Because you are making foolish choices, my mom said, crying now. Dating that woman. Chasing this impossible dream. You are embarrassing this family. Then maybe I should not be part of this family anymore. The words hung in the air. Miley, my mom gasped. I mean it. If you cannot accept who I am, what I do, who I love, then there is no point in me being here. My dad's eyes went cold. Fine. If that is how you feel, then leave. But do not come crying to us when this all falls apart. I went upstairs to my old room to grab my things. My guitar was leaning against the wall. I picked it up, and that is when my dad appeared in the doorway. Leave the guitar, he said. What? No. This is mine. You gave it to me for my 16th birthday. And now I am taking it back. You want to make adult decisions? You want to reject this family? Then you do not get to take anything from this house. Dad, please. He grabbed the guitar from my hands. Before I could stop him, he smashed it against the wall. The wood splintered. Strings snapped. My beautiful guitar, the one I had written my first songs on, was destroyed. I stood there in shock, staring at the broken pieces on the floor. Get out, my dad said. I grabbed the box of journals and ran out of the house. I got in my car and drove, tears streaming down my face, barely able to see the road. I ended up at Agna's apartment. When she opened the door and saw my face, she pulled me inside immediately. What happened? I told her everything. About the fight. About my dad destroying my guitar. About being kicked out. She held me while I sobbed, stroking my hair, whispering that everything would be okay. Move in with me, she said suddenly. I pulled back to look at her. What? Move in with me. Officially. Bring all your things. This is your home now. We are your family now. Are you sure? I have never been more sure of anything. I love you, Miley. And I want to build a life with you. Let me take care of you. Let me support you. Let me be your home. I kissed her through my tears. Yes. Yes, I want that too. That night, we went back to my tiny apartment in Brooklyn and packed up everything I owned. It did not take long. I did not have much. But what I had, I brought to Agna's place. Our place now. As we unpacked my boxes in our apartment, she said, "We are going to make your dreams come true, Miley. I promise you that. We are going to show everyone who doubted you exactly how wrong they were." I believe you, I said. And I did. Living with Agna was wonderful. I had my own space in the apartment to work on music. She bought me a new guitar, a beautiful Taylor that sounded like heaven. She set up a small home studio for me to record demos. And my career was taking off. My EP had caught the attention of a major streaming platform. They featured me in a playlist, and suddenly my numbers exploded. Tens of thousands of new listeners. Hundreds of thousands of streams. The record label wanted me to record a full album. They increased my budget. Assigned me a team. Suddenly I had a manager, a publicist, a whole support system. Agna was there through all of it, cheering me on, helping me make decisions, keeping me grounded. Do not forget who you are, she would remind me. Do not forget why you started making music in the first place. It is not about fame or money. It is about the art. It is about connection. I recorded my first full album over 6 months. 12 original songs. It was the hardest thing I had ever done, but also the most rewarding. The album dropped in March. The title was Finally Free. It was about breaking away from expectations, finding yourself, choosing love over fear. The reception was incredible. Critics loved it. Fans loved it. The singles started climbing the charts. I went from playing cafes to playing real venues. 100-seat clubs. Then 1,000-seat theaters. My face was on billboards. My songs were on the radio. I was doing interviews with magazines and podcasts and TV shows. I was becoming famous. And through it all, Agna was my rock. She came to every show. She helped me stay humble when the attention got overwhelming. She reminded me to rest when I was pushing too hard. I am so proud of you, she would say, holding me at night. But I also want you to take care of yourself. Fame is wonderful, but health and happiness are more important. One night after a particularly successful show in Boston, we were back in our hotel room. I was exhausted but buzzing with adrenaline. The crowd had been incredible. 3,000 people singing my lyrics back to me. Did you see that? I said, pacing the room. They knew every word. Every single word. Agna smiled from where she sat on the bed. I saw. It was beautiful. This is really happening. This is actually happening. She stood and came over to me, putting her hands on my shoulders to stop my pacing. It is happening because you are talented and you worked hard. You earned this, Miley. I looked into her eyes. We earned this. You made this possible. The studio time, the belief, the support. I would not be here without you. You would have found a way, she said. Maybe it would have taken longer, but you would have found a way. You have too much fire in you to be stopped. I kissed her deeply. I love you. I am going to love you forever. I love you too. Now come to bed. You have another show tomorrow and you need sleep. We made love that night, slow and tender, celebrating not just my success but the life we were building together. By summer, Finally Free had gone platinum. I was playing arenas now. My face was everywhere. I had millions of followers on social media. I was living the dream I had imagined since I was 12 years old. But success came with complications. The media was obsessed with my relationship with Agna. Pop star dating older woman. Miley Hayes controversial romance. The age gap was constantly scrutinized. People had opinions about us, about our relationship, about whether it was appropriate. At first, it bothered me. I would read comments online and get upset. But Agna taught me to ignore the noise. The only opinions that matter are ours, she said. We know what we have. We know our love is real. Everyone else can think whatever they want. I also became more vocal about being gay. I did not want to hide any part of myself. If young LGBTQ kids were looking up to me, I wanted them to see someone who was proud and authentic. I started incorporating rainbow colors into my stage designs. My costumes featured LGBTQ pride elements. At every show, I would dedicate a song to everyone out there who has ever been told they were not enough just for being themselves. The response from the LGBTQ community was overwhelming. I got thousands of messages from fans telling me I gave them courage to come out, to be themselves, to chase their dreams. It was humbling and beautiful and exactly why I made music in the first place. In August, I was invited to perform at a major Pride festival in New York. It was one of the biggest stages I had ever played. Hundreds of thousands of people in the audience. Agna stood side stage, watching me with pride. During my set, I stopped between songs to address the crowd. I want to talk about something personal for a minute, I said. The crowd quieted down. 5 years ago, I was singing in coffee shops for tip money. I was told by my own family that my dreams were foolish. That being a singer was not a real job. That I was wasting my life. The crowd booed sympathetically. But I kept going. Because I believed in myself. And because I found someone who believed in me too. Someone who loved me for exactly who I am. Someone who supported me when no one else would. I looked over at Agna. She had tears in her eyes. Agna, can you come out here? She hesitated, then walked onto the stage. The crowd erupted in cheers. I took her hand. This woman right here changed my life. She saw something in me when I was nobody. She invested in my dream when it was still just a dream. She loved me when I felt unlovable. And she has stood by me through every step of this incredible journey. Agna was crying now. I love you, I said, loud enough for the microphone to catch. I love you with my whole heart. And I am so grateful that I get to share this moment with you. The crowd went absolutely wild. Cheering, clapping, crying. I kissed her right there on stage, in front of hundreds of thousands of people. It was bold and public and perfect. When we pulled apart, Agna was laughing through her tears. You are crazy, she said. Crazy about you, I said. That moment went viral. Videos of us kissing on stage were everywhere. Some people loved it. Some people criticized it. But I did not care. I was done hiding. I was done caring what anyone thought. My second album came out the following year. It was even more successful than the first. I went on a world tour. Agna came with me to every stop she could, and when she could not come because of her own business commitments, we would video call every day. The tour was exhausting but exhilarating. I performed in countries I had never even visited before. I met fans from all over the world who told me my music meant something to them. One night after a show in London, Agna surprised me by showing up at my hotel. I thought she was back in New York, but she had flown out to see me. I missed you too much, she said, kissing me in the doorway. I am so glad you are here, I said, pulling her inside. We spent the weekend exploring London together when I was not performing. We held hands walking along the Thames. We kissed in front of Big Ben. We were just two people in love, enjoying life together. I want to ask you something, Agna said one evening as we sat in a pub having dinner. What is it? Marry me. I nearly choked on my drink. What? She smiled. I know it is sudden. But Miley, I love you more than I have ever loved anyone. You are my partner, my best friend, the love of my life. I want to spend forever with you. So, will you marry me? Tears streamed down my face. Yes. Yes, of course yes. She pulled out a ring, a beautiful diamond band, and slid it onto my finger. People in the pub noticed and started clapping and cheering. We kissed, and I felt like my heart would burst with happiness. We got married 6 months later in a private ceremony in the Hamptons. Just close friends and a few industry people who had become like family. My brother Marcus came. He had fully accepted me and Agna by this point and had become one of our biggest supporters. My parents were not there. They had not spoken to me since the day my father destroyed my guitar. Marcus said they were slowly coming around, that they listened to my music sometimes, but they were not ready to accept my relationship with Agna. It hurt, but I was learning to make peace with it. Not everyone would understand or accept me. And that was okay. I had found my own family. The wedding was beautiful. I wore a custom white suit. Agna wore a stunning gown. We exchanged vows on the beach at sunset, promising to love each other for the rest of our lives. Miley Hayes, Agna said through tears during her vows. You walked into my life when I had given up on ever feeling real love. You were this bright, passionate, fearless young woman chasing an impossible dream. And you made me believe in dreams again. You made me believe in love again. You made me believe in myself again. I promise to support you, encourage you, and love you with everything I have every day, for as long as we both live. I could barely get through my own vows without sobbing. Agna, you saved me. When I had nothing, when everyone told me I was a failure, when I wanted to give up, you believed in me. You saw something in me I could not see in myself. You gave me the resources, the confidence, and the love I needed to become who I am today. Every song I sing, every stage I stand on, every dream I achieve, it is because you made it possible. I promise to never take you for granted. I promise to love you fiercely and proudly. I promise to be your partner in everything. I love you so much. When we kissed as wives for the first time, our small group of guests erupted in applause. The reception was intimate and perfect. We danced under string lights. We ate amazing food. We celebrated with the people who truly loved and accepted us. That night, in our hotel suite, we made love as wives for the first time. It felt different, deeper, more meaningful. Mrs. Goudier Hayes, Agna said, testing out our hyphenated last name. I love the sound of that, I said. Me too. I love everything about this. About us. Me too. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for letting me, she said. The next few years were a whirlwind. I released 2 more albums, both massive successes. I won my first Grammy. Then my second. Then my third. I was now playing stadiums. 50,000 people. 60,000 people. My face was on the covers of magazines. I was invited to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. I had become exactly what I dreamed of being, a world-famous singer. But through all of it, Agna kept me grounded. She made sure I did not lose myself in the fame. She made sure I stayed connected to why I made music in the first place. We bought a beautiful house in the Hamptons where we could escape the chaos of fame. We traveled the world together. We lived a life of luxury, but also a life of love and meaning. I became one of the most prominent LGBTQ voices in music. I used my platform to advocate for LGBTQ rights, to support young queer artists, to create change. Every concert I did featured rainbow colors. Every album I released had songs about being proud of who you are. I partnered with LGBTQ organizations to raise money and awareness. And I never stopped talking about Agna. In every interview, I made sure people knew that she was the reason for my success. That her belief in me had made everything possible. One day, I was doing a press conference for my latest album. A journalist asked, "You talk about your wife a lot. Some people say the age gap in your relationship is inappropriate. What do you say to critics?" I smiled. I say love is love. Agna and I have been together for 7 years now. We have built a beautiful life together. She is my best friend, my partner, my biggest supporter. The people who criticize our relationship do not know us. They do not know our love. And honestly, their opinions do not matter to me. What matters is that we are happy. What matters is that we treat each other with respect and love. Age is just a number. Love is what is real. The room applauded. After the press conference, I got a text from a number I did not recognize. That was a beautiful answer. I am proud of you. This is Marcus. Mom and Dad saw the press conference. They want to talk to you. My heart stopped. I called Marcus immediately. What do you mean they want to talk to me? I asked. They have been watching your career, he said. They listen to your music all the time. They watch your interviews. They brag about you to their friends. They are proud of you, Miley. They just have not known how to tell you. It has been 7 years, Marcus. 7 years of silence. I know. And they know they messed up. They want to make things right. Will you at least hear them out? I talked to Agna about it that night. What do you think I should do? I asked. That is up to you, my love. I will support whatever you decide. But I will say this, if they are genuinely apologizing, if they are genuinely accepting you now, it might be worth hearing them out. Not for them, but for you. So you can have closure, one way or another. I thought about it for a few days. Finally, I agreed to meet them. We met at a cafe in Manhattan. Neutral territory. Agna offered to come with me, but I told her I needed to do this alone. When I walked in, I saw my parents sitting at a table in the corner. They looked older. My mom had more gray hair. My dad looked tired. I sat down across from them. Hi, I said. "Hi, sweetheart," my mom said, her voice breaking. We sat in awkward silence for a moment. Then my dad spoke. "We owe you an apology. A huge apology. We were wrong. About everything. Your music, your relationship, the way we treated you. We were so wrong. We let our own fears and prejudices get in the way of supporting our daughter," my mom said, tears streaming down her face. "We thought we were protecting you, but we were just pushing you away. And we are so sorry." I felt tears building in my own eyes. "Do you have any idea how much you hurt me? How much I needed you and you were not there?" "We know," my dad said. "And we will regret that for the rest of our lives. But Miley, we want to try to make it right. We want to be part of your life again. If you will let us." "What about Agna?" I asked. "What about my being gay?" "We love you," my mom said firmly. "All of you. Including your wife. We want to meet her, to apologize to her for how we treated her. We want to start over. And we have been watching you," my dad said. "We have seen what you have accomplished. You were right, Miley. You were right to follow your dream. You are incredibly talented. You are successful. You are happy. And we are so proud of you." I started crying. I had waited so long to hear those words. "We watched your press conference," my mom said. "When you defended your relationship, when you talked about love being what is real, we finally understood. You have found something beautiful. Something we threw away because we were too stubborn and scared to accept it." We talked for 2 hours. They asked about my life, my music, my marriage. They wanted to know everything they had missed. At the end, my mom asked, "Can we start over? Can we try to be a family again?" I thought about it. 7 years of hurt could not be erased in one conversation. But maybe it was a start. "We can try," I said. "But you need to understand something. Agna is my wife. She is my family. If you cannot fully accept her, then we cannot move forward." "We accept her," my dad said. "We want to know her. We want to be part of both your lives." Over the next few months, we slowly rebuilt our relationship. My parents came to one of my concerts and met Agna afterward. My mom hugged her and apologized for how she had treated her years ago. Agna was gracious and kind, willing to give them a chance. We started having family dinners. Slowly, carefully, we became a family again. It was not perfect. There were still awkward moments, still things we were learning to navigate. But it was progress. One night at dinner, my mom said, "Miley, I need you to know something. I listen to your music all the time. And it is not just because you are my daughter. It is because you are genuinely talented. You make beautiful art. And I am so sorry I did not see that sooner." "Thank you, Mom," I said, tears in my eyes. "And Agna," my dad said, turning to her. "Thank you for taking care of our daughter when we failed to. Thank you for believing in her. Thank you for loving her the way she deserves to be loved." Agna smiled. "It is my honor. Miley is the most extraordinary person I have ever known. I am lucky to be her wife." Marcus raised his glass. "To family. To second chances. To love winning in the end." We all clinked glasses, and I felt a sense of peace I had not felt in years. It has been 10 years now since I first saw Agna walk into that cafe. 10 years since she changed my life forever. I am 34 years old. Agna is 50. And we are more in love than ever. I am one of the biggest pop stars in the world. I have sold out stadium tours on every continent. I have won 11 Grammys. I have broken streaming records. My albums have gone multi-platinum. But none of that matters as much as the life I have built with Agna. We have houses in New York, Los Angeles, and the Hamptons. We have luxury cars and designer clothes and everything money can buy. But what makes me happiest is waking up next to her every morning. It is making her coffee. It is slow dancing in our kitchen. It is laughing together at something silly. Last week, I had a concert at Madison Square Garden. 20,000 people singing my songs. It was incredible. But the best moment was when I brought Agna on stage during my encore. I want to talk about my journey for a minute, I said to the crowd. 10 years ago, I was singing in a cafe for $75 a night. I was 24 years old, broke, with a dream that everyone said was impossible. And then this woman walked into that cafe. I gestured to Agna, who was standing beside me, looking beautiful and slightly embarrassed by the attention. She saw something in me I could not see in myself. She believed in me when no one else did. She invested in my dream. She loved me unconditionally. She gave me the courage to be myself, to chase my passion, to never give up. Every single success I have achieved, it is because of her. Every stage I have stood on, it is because she made it possible. Agna, you are my everything. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being my wife. The crowd erupted in cheers. I turned to Agna and kissed her, right there in front of 20,000 people. And I did not care who was watching or what anyone thought. I was proud to love her. I was proud to be loved by her. After the show, we were in my dressing room. I was exhausted but exhilarated. You are going to make me cry every time you do that, Agna said, wiping her eyes. Good, I said, pulling her into my arms. I want the whole world to know how much I love you. I love you too. So much. I am so proud of everything you have accomplished. We accomplished it together, I said. None of this would exist without you. We went home that night to our apartment in the city. The same apartment where I first stayed with her all those years ago. We had renovated it, made it truly ours, but it was still the place where our life together began. As we got ready for bed, Agna said, "Do you remember that first night? When I asked you to coffee after your set?" Of course I remember. I was so nervous. I knew that night I was going to fall in love with you. I did not know how or when, but I knew. How did you know? Because you had this light in you. This passion and fire and determination. You were so young and so brave. And I wanted to be part of that light. I wanted to help you shine. You did more than help me shine, I said. You taught me to believe in myself. You taught me that love is worth fighting for. You taught me that being yourself is the bravest thing you can do. We lay in bed, wrapped around each other, comfortable and content. What do you think the next 10 years will bring? She asked. More music. More love. More adventures. Maybe we will start a foundation to help young LGBTQ artists the way you helped me. Maybe we will adopt kids. Maybe we will just travel the world and enjoy life. Whatever it is, as long as I am with you, it will be perfect. I love you, Miley Hayes, she said. I love you, Agna Goudier Hayes, I said. And as I drifted off to sleep in my wife's arms, I thought about how different my life could have been. If I had listened to my family and given up on music. If I had been too scared to fall in love with a woman 16 years older than me. If I had let fear and doubt win. But I did not. I chose to be brave. I chose to follow my dreams. I chose love. And that choice gave me everything. A few months ago, I ran into Aunt Linda at a charity event in New Jersey. She looked uncomfortable when she saw me, like she wanted to avoid me. But I walked right up to her. "Hi, Aunt Linda," I said with a smile. "Miley. I did not know you would be here. I am performing. It is a fundraiser for LGBTQ youth. I am headlining." She looked uncomfortable. That is wonderful. "You know," I said, "I remember you asking me once if singing was even a real job." She had the decency to look ashamed. I leaned in close and said, "Yes. This is a real job. And I am really good at it." Then I walked away, head held high, to prepare for my performance. Later, Agna asked me how it felt to see her. "It felt good," I said honestly. "It felt like closure. Like I do not need her validation anymore. I do not need anyone's validation except my own. And yours. You have always had mine," Agna said. "From the very first moment." "I know. And that is all I have ever needed." Now, as I sit here reflecting on the past decade, I am overwhelmed with gratitude. Gratitude for every struggle that made me stronger. Gratitude for every person who doubted me and gave me something to prove. Gratitude for every moment of pain that led to growth. But most of all, gratitude for Agna. For seeing me. For believing in me. For loving me. For being my partner in this extraordinary life. My brother called me yesterday. He said Dad has my albums framed on the wall in his office now. He tells everyone about his daughter, the famous singer. Mom apparently plays my songs for her students and talks about following your dreams. It is not a perfect reconciliation, but it is something. It is proof that people can change. That love can heal. That it is never too late to make things right. And me? I am living proof that dreams do come true. That being yourself is worth it. That love, real love, can change everything. I am Miley Hayes. World-famous singer. Grammy winner. LGBTQ icon. Wife to the most incredible woman in the world. But more importantly, I am someone who refused to give up. Someone who chose authenticity over acceptance. Someone who believed in love even when love seemed impossible. And if my story can inspire even one person to chase their dreams, to be themselves, to choose love over fear, then everything I have been through was worth it. Thank you, Agna, for believing in me when I was just a 24-year-old singing in a cafe. Thank you for loving me through every stage of this journey. Thank you for being my home. This is our story. And I would not change a single moment of it. And this is the song dedicated to us.
I was lost inside my lonely night, dreaming small, afraid to take flight. Then you came and saw me for me, a love that whispered, "You're meant to be." You lifted me up when I'm falling down, turn my silence into sound, hold my heart and set it free, show me the love I was meant to see. Oh, with you I believe, you lift me up and help me breathe. and help me breathe.
Thank you for watching Sapphic Story Hour. Please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, bye-bye.